With the second core of 86 starting here very shortly within the next week or so, maybe even sooner, what better time than now to analyze Lena Milize's character. This is a script I've had prepared for some time now, but I think this is a good time to go ahead and get this one done. But like my Akuto videos, I do have to take care of some things first. First of all, my Pokemon content is going to be over there on the rise soon, where I have a new Pokemon challenges video that I am currently working on and I'm almost done with. This is a challenge that nobody has tried quite yet, so I'm kind of excited to see how this one turns out. Next up, we are on the road to 250 subscribers by the end of December 31st, 2021, and 1,000 by Anime Expo next summer. If we hit, break, or get really close to the 1,000 goal, I will cosplay the full cosplay. That includes makeup, shoes, clothes, hair, whatever, as Inori Yuzuriha, and I will have the best moments and reactions recorded and uploaded here for your enjoyment and maybe potentially my embarrassment, but we'll see. The day or the video that I have announced that we hit 200 subscribers, I will be making a Patreon with the reward information included on the very same day. That will be one of the most surefire ways you can support me if you enjoy my content at all, so I really appreciate that, and even if not, you are not obliged to do anything at all. Alright, let's get on with how Lena Milize challenges the traditional heroine role. Most anime heroines are typically judged and characterized by their personality traits, one dominant one in particular, their social status, or really how out of their shell they are. The anime community frequently places these characters into one of four categories: tsundere, yandere, kudere, and dandere. Here are some notable characters that are frequently placed in each dere category: Taiga Aisaka, Yuno Gasai, Inori Yuzuriha, and Orihime Inoue, respectively. It's easy to judge a character based upon what we can see and how we see them act. It becomes their entire persona, and in some ways, this creates a kind of cult within the anime community. We all know what I'm talking about here. Okay, but what makes Lena Milize different from the typical anime heroine? Does she not fall into one of the dere categories, or is that she has a very colorful personality? Well, I'll tell you why. Lena had a bigger heart than anyone, and she proved it. From the day she met the 86, Sheen's brother, she was instilled with the very fact that she had to do something about the way these people were treated. This doesn't sound real special at the moment, but what I want you to take away from this is the fact that from episode 1, Lena fought her own battle between what was right and wrong. She was passionate, and it was the very same passion that got her into trouble towards the end of the first core. Call her crazy, emotional, a girl, whatever you will, but the fact of the matter is that Lena was someone who was willing to make a difference from the time she was a little girl, when the world seemed impossibly large, to the point that she could question what her role in the world was. Talent will only get you so far, but the same goes for steadfastness and a strong ethic. One does not function without the other. You can't make instant noodles or ramen without water. The same concept applies to Lena, but on a much larger scale. Why though? Well, the answer to this question isn't black or white. I'll try to make the blurred lines a little clearer. Lena was the youngest person ever to achieve the rank of Major, but instead of using her new power and position to do what everyone expected of her and keep quiet, she abused that power in the best way possible. Lena was the noodles and the ramen, but in order to live up to her full potential and become her true self, she needed the help of another medium, like the seasoning on ramen, but all she could get was just the water. While the water will gradually soften the noodles over time, they'll never reach their full potential, and the idea of cold noodles is not a pleasant one. Lena had to be what the capital expected her to be, but she also had to be the outlier to the equation. She had to be different and stick her nose in places it didn't belong. Lena poured her own hot water on herself, figuratively, by continually supporting the 86. When she discovered the note that was left behind by her squad, she finally found her place and understood what it was she had to do. No more 86 could be treated like inhuman pigs. Being in such a powerful position as she was comes with its many tribulations, but it's these very same tribulations that caused Lena to grow into the young woman she did. So what makes her different than, say, someone like, and I hate to rag on my favorite waifu like this, but Inori Yuzuriha? First, let's compare a couple things they have in common. Lena and Inori both fight for the people they love and will do everything in their power. Think about the way the word power has different connotations here, to protect those people. Now, consider how they both are shaped by their environments and tragedy. Inori is affected by Shu's loss of Hare and the personality changes that follow. Lena is affected in nearly the same way by the deaths of the 86 and her squad, and is forced into a world of suffering she had no idea even existed. Okay, but what makes them different? Let's start with the influences. Inori constantly has Shu at funeral parlor to back her up and help her grow. When she struggles to find herself, she shies away and hides what she knows she shouldn't. Inori knows she can seek help, but at times she decides against accepting the love and support around her. Lena handles this a lot differently. First of all, Lena has no support system aside from Annette, who struggles with the concept of the 86 in her own right. When no one is there to support you, you have to support yourself, and that's exactly what she does. It's touch and go for a good while, but eventually Lena discovers what she's missing: herself. She's open and honest about her feelings and has one primary goal in mind: find a way to make everyone realize that 86 are human too. Inori does not have a clear-cut goal to the same accord that Lena does, but the character development is still incredibly complex and very dynamic. If you remember at the start of the video where I was talking about the different types of dairy and cult-like fandom groups, it becomes pretty obvious that nobody sees these characters for who they are. It's this reason that Lena's strong desire to recognize the 86 as humans, defy higher command, and fight when everyone else is too afraid to, that makes Lena different, and why she challenges the primary notion that she has to be sweet, pretty, and not outspoken. While she's definitely a well-designed character and is way sweeter than candy, she also draws a line in the sand. Lena commands her squad with an ever-dwindling grip on power as the anime really begins to pick up after episodes 4 and 5. But that power isn't so complacent in the fact that she has it, but the fact that she exploits it and the capital, even though she knows the risks are high and she likely would face some kind of enforcement action from the higher-ups. Still, she trudges forward despite walking through a minefield of repercussions that could risk the entire squad she cares so deeply for, and herself. The Spearhead Squadron and Lena could have both agreed on a resolution to bring an end to the discrimination and suffering, but to end suffering by causing more suffering, especially to those who have no involvement, would not be only morally destabilizing, it would have a pretty bad end to something that required a much different approach. While Lena does face the repercussions for her disobedience, she gets off with no more than house arrest, of which she also defies by heading out into the field. It's here she's able to come face to face with the very thing she's been fighting for. Her squad long gone and the base now an empty shell, they leave behind memories and written emotions that find their homes in the walls. Lena expresses great sympathy with her squad and works to right every wrong, which is why she makes a concerted effort to see just where her squad was and how they lived. But what is truly amazing is that she never gave up hope. There was always a way, and Lena would find it. It's this very fact that she comes to realize when she discovers the letter that was left behind for her, along with a group photo of the full Spearhead Squadron. Her squad never gave up on her either. Lena was distrusted, disliked, and even hated for simply being herself, at first. Lena made a massive effort to learn names, discover what they liked, and hold conversation outside of official military business and squadron commander duties. The burning flames of passion that Lena had were able to reach even the coldest hearts that had been frozen over. If there were such a thing as magic, I'd say maybe that's what this was, but the thing is, this was all Lena. It's awesome when the status quo is disrupted because we gain the opportunity for new insight. Lena was that disruption, and the capital was the status quo. But that's why she challenges the role of a traditional heroine. This girl has a heart of gold, and it is plain to see. There was nothing that could stop her from achieving her goals. Even in the last few moments, Lena realizes she has a lot more work to do and will walk forward into an uncertain future with her squad. With the second core coming up here very shortly, it'll be very interesting to see where we start and how things go. Lena must discover who she is, what she's fighting for, and what her values are. But the biggest choice she will have to make is who she's fighting for.